Christian Karasiewicz here, social media strategist. Tonight's tip is basically centered around the Facebook newsfeed. If you're unfamiliar with the Facebook newsfeed is basically your lifeline on Facebook. You basically don't have to go into every single user's profile, every single user's fan page to see what they have going on, to learn about what they have, what kind of new content they've posted. And there are three pieces to the Facebook newsfeed that I want to cover tonight. One of those, which came up on my Facebook page the other week, was users wanted to know how come I'm only seeing certain parts of a Facebook newsfeed. For example, they might be seeing the same person's content over and over and over, even though they know they've got 500, 600, 700, 1,000 other friends. So that's the first part. The second part that people were asking about, and I recently covered this in my Facebook video that I did on how to use Facebook lists, but this was how to take advantage of the Facebook newsfeed and all of the features that it offers. And the third part is basically a little tutorial on how to add and remove people, or sorry, how to remove and then re-add people and Facebook pages and applications and things like that from your newsfeed. And so let's get started with the first part, because this is one of those things that I feel is very, very important. And that is, how do I maximize my Facebook newsfeed? Well, there used to be a feature down here at the bottom that would say, let's go down here and look at this. There used to be a feature down here that would let you scroll down and you could see what, you could set, I want to see, 100 people in this newsfeed. I want to see 300. I want to see 500. I want to see 1,000. Well, Facebook did away with that feature. And instead, they actually moved it up to this little drop-down box here that says most recent. And by default, they've actually marked it as show most, let's see, it actually says Facebook pages and friends that you interact the most with. And this was the default feature that Facebook set up. And I'll show you how to get there. You basically click on the drop-down in your newsfeed, and we're going to go down to edit options. And we're going to ignore all of this stuff. We're just going to edit options. And once we're there, Facebook had initially set this to show just friends and pages you interact with most, or show all of your friends and pages. And this was the default right here, friends and pages you interact with the most. Well, the downside of this is that if you only interact with a few of your 500 friends, that's all the content you're going to see. You're not going to see the pages. You're not going to see the people. You're not really going to get into the social networking aspect of Facebook. So the first thing I want you to do is I want to encourage everybody to go in and flip this switch. Turn it to all of your friends and pages. This way, we're going to hit save here, and what's going to happen is it's going to reload my Facebook page, and now I'm going to see all of these people that I'm friends with. And instead of getting to the bottom of this and having to click any buttons, I now have this nice little auto scroll feature that you can see here. See how let's get to the bottom. So you see how it's like slowly giving you that feature, and it's reviewing everything that's on the page. So that's the first part that I wanted to cover to my video tutorial tonight, which is how to expand your Facebook newsfeed. Now, the second feature that I mentioned was, well, how do I maximize this Facebook newsfeed? And previously, I talked about the importance of setting up lists on Facebook. Well, in this dropdown, there's also a nice little feature here. You can quickly and easily go through your newsfeed and say, hey, you know what? I want to see just status updates. I want to see photos, people that just uploaded photos, people that posted links. You know what? I want to see all of these Facebook pages that I've said I liked. Because here's the thing, a lot of Facebook pages get mixed up in the rest of your profile updates from your friends. So that's another option. And then down here at the bottom, if you've created a Facebook list, and I advise you, by the way, if you've not used this feature, to check out my video on my YouTube channel. But you're going to go here and you can click, for instance, in this case, I want to choose another, and I want to see all the people that are in this list that's right here. And basically what this will help me do is now I can easily scroll through my Facebook list of users. So for example, if I've set a list up for business contacts, for example, I don't have to scroll through all of this. I don't have to scroll through all of these pages. I don't have to scroll through umpteen questions, status updates. I can go right to this list and see all of the people that I have in that list. For example, it could be business contacts. I could set one up for family. I could set one up for, what else? Let's see, business contacts. I've got family. I could set one up for certain groups. For instance, like I'm heavily involved in social media, so I have a Facebook list for social media peeps. People that I like to interact with, and a lot of times, I might lose their content as a result of this. So that's the second feature there, and it's really simple. You just click the drop down and you select what you want to see. And now the third feature is actually a pretty cool feature. Let's just say, for example, a lot of people have asked me this. They're like, I want to remove certain people from my Facebook newsfeed because they're sending me applications. And let's see if we can find an application. Okay, this is the Hugs application. Um, I'm not a big fan of using games and things like that on Facebook. I look at it more from a networking perspective. But say, for instance, I wanted to remove this particular app from showing up in my newsfeed. As you see here, if I mouse right over here, there's a little X that shows up. Well, if I highlight it, I now get a couple of different options. I can hide just this post. I can hide all posts done by this person, and I can hide the Hugs app. In this case, I want to remove this Hugs app. So we're going to click on this, and we're going to say hide all by Hugs. Okay? So voila, I've now removed this particular application, and it will no longer show up in my Facebook newsfeed. Well, what if we accidentally hide somebody? So let's go up here. Let's hide my friend Thomas. So we're going to click here. We're going to say, hey, hide all by Thomas. Look at that. Thomas is gone, and I didn't mean to do that. So what do? Well, you remember that feature where I showed you how you could go in and you could change what shows up in your newsfeed? Well, when you hide people, they get put in this Edit Options menu at the top. And you can now go in here, and for instance, if I want to unhide Thomas, all I got to do is click this little X, hit Save, and now Thomas will start showing back up in my newsfeed. The same thing happens with some of these apps. In this case, let me undo the Living Social one-day deal. I'm going to hit Save, and now I will have these apps and these people. In this case, there's Thomas again. He shows up back in my Facebook newsfeed. So there you go. That is tonight's social media tip. It's how to use the Facebook newsfeed and how to maximize using it. Again, if you have any questions, don't hesitate. Visit my Facebook fan page. Leave me post a status update on my wall with your question. I'll gladly answer them. If you have other questions, you're welcome to connect with me on Twitter, my YouTube channel, etc. Thanks a lot. Have a great evening.